Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have a Monkey Still versus Blue-Red Delver. Now, this might not actually have Standstill left in it. It might just be Jeskai. We'll see. But the general idea is a Jeskai build that has Swords to Plowshares, Ragavan, Stifle, Urza's Saga, just a lot of the better cards that have come out recently, with some of the cards that have been literally the best since the game was first printed back in 1993. Including Lightning Bolt and Swords to Plowshares. And here we see Dragon Rage Channeler biting the dust as a Lightning Bolt takes care of it. Another Dragon Rage Channeler, however, replaces it. And now Urza's Saga comes down. We have a Swords to Plowshares. Will this one stick? Threat heavy hand. We've got Urza's Saga, which is potentially going to be able to make a pair of constructs and then summon Retrofitter Foundry. We've got Delver of Secrets. The namesake card of the deck, though, not really the all-star of the deck at this point. Ragavan and even Dragon Rage Channeler kind of outshining it. And of course, there's the new finisher Murktide Regent. Interesting here. So Dom actually really being protective of his life total. He's going to throw a force at this Delver. Pile forces back. Countering the Swords to Plowshares, the cost of a Daze, and looks like Dom is not a line that I would take. I think he might feel like he's kind of getting Kyle here, getting this Pithing Needle. I don't love it. Urza's Saga, of course, can grab Retrofitter Foundry. This is the new art for Pithing Needle. Actually, that's kind of gross. Skip past that. Go backwards. Delver of Secrets has not flipped. However, another one shows up, and that could get out of hand very, very quickly. An instant or sorcery on top of the library will be a big problem. Pithing Needle shutting down his own Scalding Tarn here. Hopefully he didn't have a different land drop in hand. Actually, I don't even know what you hope for there. Wasteland gets stifled. That would have been a devastating turn. Failing the land drop of Scalding Tarn and also losing a land to Wasteland. Fortunately, had the Stifle to protect his mana base. Now he's got a True Name Nemesis, which doesn't look like it's going to win this race. Doesn't interact with the Delvers. They're going to be coming over for 6 damage in the air. Expressive Iteration. Gets a counterspell. Essentially a draw 2 for 2. Even better than that, really, as it's got some card selection. Oh, and we've got a dashed Ragavan to kind of close the door there. It's tough. I mean, I guess you have to attack with the True Name. You've got to find a way to win the game. That is something to consider now with the haste ability of Ragavan with dashing. I mean, that can show up unwelcome and deal those final points of damage. He is a pesky monkey. Pirate won more than his fair share of legacy games since he was printed not long ago. Oh yeah, I was playing against it the other day, and I would have much rather been facing off against even a Murktide Regent. I would have been happy to just have a couple of turns of my life total being decreased in comparison to my opponent getting a treasure and a potential card. That was the much bigger threat. It was a real slog of a game. Those extra cards would have easily swung it back in their favor, whereas the life loss from like a Tarmogoyf would have been largely irrelevant. I was drawing towards comboing out. Undo any harm that a Goyf would do just by winning the game on the spot. But that's much harder to do when you're giving your opponent a bunch of extra draws. You hit a Ponder off of Ragavan, feels an awful lot like winning the spot. Those Delvers needed to be answered. There was a lot of removal that last game. A bunch of Swords to Plowshares, Lightning Bolts, but threats just kept on coming. Tarn. Blue-red Delver so far with a basic mountain. Fetching. And if this resolves, I wouldn't be surprised to see a basic island. Like 2 islands and a mountain is kind of all you'd need for your mana base. Going to be totally immune to any type of wasteland shenanigans. At that point, your extra lands may be best sent back to the top of the library with Brainstorm, just maximizing your value. I don't know that you actually want to get to the point where you're hard casting Force in this type of matchup. And talk about mana efficiency. We have a monkey off of this Ponder. If this is not knocked in line very, very quickly, it could do a lot of damage. Caracas. That makes it tough for the monkey to do its job. Caracas bouncing legendary creatures. Wasteland. Targeting Caracas. Does not bounce the Ragavan. Interesting. Just going to go for a Swords to Plowshares instead. Could have bounced it. Would have potentially forced Pile to tap out to dash the Ragavan. And then could have Swords in the second main. But no other. So Kyle kind of got a free Brainstorm out of that. Brainstorm, fetch. That second basic island. That is looking like a very solid mana base. Murktide Regent, how big is this guy going to be? A fight over it, Force of Will. 5/5, so Tombstalker level threat here. Got an Engineered Explosives on board, potentially to handle any of these 1-drops. Murktide was the big threat. Force of Will there. There we go. Red Elemental Blast. Taking out that Murktide. Delver flips, prompting a sacking of the Engineered Explosives. Aggressive Iteration is going to look to find another threat. Delver does absolutely need some type of board presence. It's not capable of any type of combo finish. You're just going to have to actually attack your opponent down to 0 life. Some cards. That can be real problems for that. You know, Engineered Explosives does take out a whole bunch of 1 casting cost guys. Ensnaring Bridge, for example, can be a problem against this deck. They actually need to attack. You got Ragavan revealing Brainstorm. That is so strong. That is just like your Christmas lands just scenario. You're getting a Brainstorm, finding a Wasteland, knocking your opponent down to 0 colored sources while you get a treasure. That is just rude. Just going to stay on this monkey train. He's dashing him out. There's an attempt. There is an attempt to stop the Delver, or to stop the Ragavan. It's forced through. The dash happened. Delver of Secrets comes out as well, and now he flips. 5 damage. Pithing Needle. I got to imagine probably named Scalding Tarn. Even though there's a Wasteland on board, I feel like that would cause maximum psychological damage. A callback to the first game with that Urza's Saga gone awry. But Pile takes it down. Those efficient creatures team up to take out Monkey Still before it can stabilize.